Hey guys, and welcome back. It is Trekyards, and it is ship time. I am Captain Foley.
And I am Commander Coggins, and we've got a Discovery ship, brand-ish new. We had seen it before, but we've got a lot more views.
That's right. And according to me, our new slogan is Trekyards, where we talk ship, not shit.
The USS Europa, NCC 1648, which, if the registry in order continuity is actually a thing, then we are very close to the 1701. This is basically in the same few whatevers. So that's interesting. I never knew the registry, but that is very close. So now we've seen some more views. What is your new... And obviously it doesn't survive the episodes. So now we've seen its appearance, the USS Europa specifically. And there will be I guess that's the spoil of the piece. But what do you think of it now you've seen different views and such?
I love this ship. I want to see more of it. I want a model of it. I want to see different versions of it.
Well, Eagle Moss is doing one. Good old Eagle Moss.
Of course they are.
Yeah.
Also, this ship was commanded by one of my favorite people in Discovery so far, Admiral Anderson. Now, I don't know if he survived. As we spoiled earlier, the ship gets destroyed, but it does make reference of life pods being launched.
Well, it is worth saying, and again, triple spoiler, that he self-destructs, which means they actively decide their own fate, which means they'll have more time, they have more time to decide we're leaving because they decide to blow it up. There's no oh no, we're about to explode. It's like, let's explode ourselves, quick, let's get out of here. So yeah, I mean, you would assume he's now suiciding if he decides to stay.
Well,
So
Captain goes down with the ship. Admiral escapes in an escape
but,
pod. I don't know how that goes.
He's a fleet admiral that came late to a party and lasts less than 2 minutes. So you'd think, let's.
To be fair, though, he got kind of screwed as far as attack-wise. That ship probably could have held its own pretty well until gets slammed into by an invisible brick wall. Or a cutting blade, as the case may be.
Yeah, that was a real
Blow.
Screw you ship. Yeah, and there's a specific shot where you can see the bottom arc. I mean, it is a full-on point. It looks like a galleon, a big seafaring vessel. I mean, I would consider this probably one to them as ramming ships. I mean, what an awesome strategy, assuming you won't let the ship self-destruct, to have a ship that's designed to have this huge battering ram at the front. It stays cloaked, slams in. I mean, especially if they haven't got shields up to full power, maybe, or whatever. I mean, kinetic force is different to energy weapons. Shields are not designed to, you look at Nemesis. A bit of the one of the Nrix and Valdor's wings hits the thing, and the shields go down to 10% because it is a different sort of damage. So
that's why photon torpedoes cause more damage to shields generally, because it's a physical impact.
Well, sure. Isn't it phasers do more damage to shields?
Nah, not well. The theory is you take the shields down with the phasers and then use the impact weapons to cause maximum hull damage.
Yes.
But I know for a fact, in Starfleet battles and stuff, when you shoot someone with a photon torpedo, it takes a big chunk off your shields if it hits. Yeah. So, anyway, we're jumping all over the place here. We need to talk about the ship.
Oh, I guess my reaction from the episode then.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
I liked it. Fauna Cell. We're jumping. I mean, we saw one. It's funny. I said to you in the review, I was like, Fauna Cell, but we already had this ship, and we already. I know it was difficult to see in the original images a little bit, but we sort of showed it was. But yeah, Fauna Cell, a lot of color. Actually, doesn't look as black as it represented the other one. It looks more like a normal shade.
Yeah.
I really like the back details, and I will discuss all this in a minute. I've done some lightning to sort of enhance them even further. But
I love it. I like the four nacelle idea. Of course, I knew I wasn't getting a three nacelle design, even though I love three nacelle designs. This one's cool. I'm not a fan of the constellation that we see in TNG, even though it's a four nacelle design. But this one I really like. This one looks much more advanced than the constellation, in my opinion. But also the red striping all over it, nice accents. I really like that. And the banners on the upper engine, they're on the outside, and on the lower engine, they're actually on the inside of the nacelle.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, and that one,
different pennants as well.
Yeah, they are. I know. I was just gonna get into that. The one on the side, on the inner part of the nacelle, looks very Star Trek: The Motion Picture along the side of the Enterprise. Maybe they're new engines they slapped on before they
Maybe
left.
they're new engines.
I don't know.
I like that. This needs modern engines. Let's take one straight out of the dock.
I'm looking forward to seeing another version of this ship. And I hope Admiral Anderson survived. I really liked his character.
A lot of lifeboats escaped.
For once we got an admiral in Star Trek that wasn't a complete asshole. Admirals tend to be a little bit dickish, but anyway, so that's my thought on this ship. Very impressive.
Yeah, a couple of things design-wise. You're right. A lot of red accenting, which seems to be the theme that the Shinjo has it.
It's the theme this year. We're doing it from all Starfleet ships.
Yeah, exactly. And this front view, which we highlighted a lot last time, you can clearly see the four nacelles. Lots of front glowing elements, which imply the intakes or double intakes, or maybe reverse thrust drives, which would be fine. I'd be all for that. The middle section integrates really well with a nice slice. I think the bridge is up there. That's my inclination based on the window placement. There's a big window in the middle with two sides. That would be consistent with other ones. And you talk about, we've broken the bridge rule based on the Shinjo, so that would make sense to have a different one. But it does follow the in the Shinjo because the Shinjo's old. This is a much. I mean, the Admiral will be a new ship, so I would obviously it's a new registry as well. So this is probably one of the best ships of this time. Maybe it's older than the Constitution by a little bit based on the registry. Like maybe the one step before sort of thing. Because there's only 12 Connies, so this happens to be the Admiral that happens to be in range or the edge of the galaxy. The edge of our quadrant. You wouldn't necessarily have whatever. But it does have those cutouts to the front, and they do have the torpedo launchers like the Shinjo seems to have. So that's consistent. It seems to have I'm guessing they're torpedo launchers anyway. Potentially four forward facing, which is cool. Mm-hmm. Bottom of the hull has those huge greebly panel pieces at the back, which is interesting. And at the back of the shuttle bay, it's got either side. There seems to be, if you lighten it in post, it's got these greebly pieces, and a big sort of big shuttle bay door, which is very reminiscent of like the Kelvin. That's the style I get when I see this bit, or kind of the way it pushes out the hull reminds me of this what's the Reliant class the Bozeman with the added
Bozeman,
aft pod. So I sort of get those vibes from it. So what do you think about those pieces in particular that I just brought up?
I tend to agree with you. I think those ones, it does have 4 forward-facing torpedo tubes. If you look at the view from the front, you can see like and like we pointed out on the one of our other reviews, when you see the torpedo screen on the Shinzo, they go all the way to the back, and that's got that here as well. So yeah, I totally agree with that. The greeblies on the bottom of the secondary or the primary hull there, very reminiscent of the Miranda style from the top. And even the shape is very Miranda style-esque.
And yet the big details at the back of the secondary hull, they have an NX vibe of the superchargers.
Yeah. And the front of the nacelles are very interesting. I like the blue glow there. Could be that they're in. They could maybe go red when they're in normal operation, but since they're going into battle or whatever, maybe they're blue for some reason. But they're also shielded as well, and they look different than the Shinzo's, because the Shinzo's got different style engine altogether.
Well, it has no glowing Bassard elements.
Yeah.
The Discovery does. So this is pushing towards that.
Yeah, it's safe to say that this was made probably around the same time as the Constitution classes.
Maybe just using the older tech. Like it was a design that was newer, but using old parts, and the Constitution class was using all the newer parts.
Yeah, could be. But I like the way the front of the nacelles look. It's definitely a unique look, and really helps me enjoy this ship because, like I said, this is one of my favorite ships I've seen so far.
2 things on that. First of all, so you said you like blue, but you don't like blue on the JJ Prize. The audience is saying, "How hypocritical of you, Stuart? Blue and blue.
And I can like blue on this design and not like blue on another design. That's fine. Ideally, the Bazaar Collector should be red or orange. But like I said, they probably have different modes, because we've already seen in this battle some ships that have red Bazaar Collectors. So it is a thing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
What? But also, in my side canon and other books that I have, there are experimental engines, and even in Starfleet Battles, that have blue Bizarre collectors on certain ships. Just a different style of engine, different, collecting different particles, perhaps. I don't know. Anyway, I don't mind blue Bizarre collectors. I just big water wheels in the JJ Prize kind of bother me.
And the second thing, if you look at, we've already seen quite a plethora of ships, not a lot close up, but enough to get a sense. We can pretty comfortably assume this is a pretty high-end ship, with the registry as well. So you've got, in terms of evolution, you've got the NX-01. This should be a whole thing we look at. The NX-01 has very familiar engines. Boom, engines. That then updates over the years into the Shinjo, which is completely contained engines, with glowing red strips, and a bit different, but that's actually, if you compare it to every other ship of this era, very different. So that's a visually in-between step, which then evolves into the Discovery, and we see a couple of ships that have the 3 red Basards, which is the 1 big, 2 small, and if this is the newest ship, these have single, bigger Basards, which then evolves into the Constitution class, with obviously this still has armour as well, but that evolves into the Constitution class, which has no armour on the outside. So you can actually see a sort of, the Warp 8 engine has to be fully, which I said to you, I said the Connie was the same engine with the grills, but self-contained because of radiation. So to make that jump there to fully contain it, and then manages to evolve into. So I actually kind of appreciate that.
Before we do that, I just want to point out one thing. On the bottom there, the registry number is very similar to what we see stylistic-wise to the motion picture era. It's the same kind of font as the motion picture. It's not a TOS motion picture, or not a TOS font for the registry number. I was going to say, however, if you go to the top view, it seems more TOS, but it doesn't. I'm totally wrong there. It's actually the same kind of font on the top as well when we see the hull being crushed. So it's that was kind of a misstep in my opinion, that they went with a motion picture style font on this ship. I think the Shinzo, if you take a look at it, I think is more TOS vibe as far as the font goes, but I could be wrong. Anyway, I just want to point that out on this ship, that it looks like a much newer build. It actually fits in the motion picture era more so than it does in TOS.
Well, actually, it's interesting. In between step, you've got the bulkiness of the engines that fit towards an in between step, but then the reminiscent, the carryover of the Basards of the TOS. This would almost be a better step.
These engines, these engines look like a step between TOS and the motion picture era, because motion picture, we know they go kind of square.
Well,
Art Deco-ish. This is kind of getting there.
To be fair, the Connie is old. It's not old, but the Connie has been out for years now. Maybe the Connie is an antiquated technology already. Maybe they go from the Basards of the Discovery, the 3 red and long, to the very contained Constitution class, into the next jump. I guess Warp 8.5 is again armoured and blue and pushing back into that step maybe. Because it
makes sense. It makes sense that this is just a more advanced engine than even the Constitution class ones.
Maybe.
But then the later refit engines are, use
the Basards altogether, and interesting. And I will just say, what do you think about the impulse engine placement being inside the roll bar struts at the top?
Probably not the best idea. I mean, it seems to be a weak spot, and to have a thrust point from there, if you get some structural weak spots because of damage or whatever, that could be bad. I think it'd be better to have them mounted on the actual hull itself. But I mean, it looks cool. It looks fine.
Essentially, they're also blue. All the lights are blue. All of them. Basards, grills.
Well, that makes me think they're at some kind of station keeping, or power setting that has that look. Because they are tractoring in the Shinzo right now. They are in a battle zone, so they know that. There's a bunch of stuff going on. So I don't know if things change color based on what they're doing, but...
Yeah, I like the impulse engines there in theory. It's like have them in the... in Voyager, in the struts. I like them in the theory, but I'd like to have seen 4 impulse engines to 4... warp nacelles, why not? 2 in the hull, 2 in the top, let it have double thrust. It is intriguing how much extra glow elements there are in the engines, those little strip lines. just a lot of glowy things to look at. But Stuart,
Yes.
so I'm going to edit out my other saying about this because we jumped so far away. So I'm going to edit back into the thing. But Stuart, we saw the Europa in a trailer, and it was we called it the mystery ship because we didn't know exactly what it was called at the time. Turns out they changed the CGI from then till now. So there's actually a few changes, and a few even refer to the Bassard. So I've tried my best to get almost frame for frame exact pieces.
Oh, wow.
And this shows you how things do change. So the first shot is the trailer shot. And then boom, the second shot, well look, the registry is now black. The red striping is pretty huge. The explosion has radically changed. Much nicer in terms of little particulates, actually. And it feels pretty darn different, actually.
And the original one, the Netflix one, the registry font they're using is TOS for the NCC and the USS. That's all TOS, and they changed that to go with the movie era font.
And it's black, which is an awful choice to go against. Like, the white stands out. The black really does not stand out well.
Yeah, the white also looks like it's on like a darker hull, like a black hull.
Yeah, which is what we said early on. Yeah.
I do agree it stands out more, but at the same time, the registries have always been black, so I don't have a problem with the black registry.
That's a problem, though. You make a white ship, black registry makes sense. You make a black ship, you should have a white registry. I mean, it's...
to change the font, so...
And sizing, pretty hugely different.
Yeah.
You know, they changed them, and that's a pretty hefty change. I mean, you can read the Europa on the original version, you can barely read it on the other version. You've now had dots between the USS, and pretty radically different.
Yeah. Speaking of radically different, let's go to the next picture.
So that's the trailer.
Yes, this is the early trailer, and it's a nice, smooth-looking ship, very TOS.
And you couldn't see much. There wasn't that much lit. You could sort of see the Bassards. They were orange with bits, confusing, and then straight boop.
Yeah, totally
Sunlight.
different feel. The ship seems more advanced, more like of a different generation, like the next generation.
Wow,
movie era in this case.
It's a little bit far maybe, but.
But
is that because
the
of all the glowy bits specifically? Do you mean?
No, just like I guess it's lit more as well, but just the hull texturing, the window on the leading edge, seems more TOS in the first picture. That's all I'm saying. It seems a little bit more primitive, and they've kind of updated it. And the Bassard collectors. I actually like the first one from the trailer better with the two red in each one. And then it goes to the big blue one in the final version.
Yeah, the design's clearly the same, but like you say, all the windows now are really glowy. The lighting's radically different, and I do prefer the lighting in the new one because the explosion clearly has actually done something. The other one is actually way more subtle than I thought. But yeah, it's very difficult to work out the shapes, but in this new version, I mean, it's really easy. You know, you see everything, you can understand it. It's pushing out, and yeah, the Bassards have gone from this. You know, the bottom Bassard. I mean, it's almost different designs. The bottom has a little pinprick with a piece, kind of Kelvin-esque, because that has a very unique middle bit, and now it's a very familiar single piece blue again, which is the big change. Yeah, so it's interesting how CG does change. But third picture, it's almost explodey, and the original version was very, very dark. Again, white registries, but the new version now has a lot of red, and I've digitally enhanced this. But what do you see in this version? Because it's actually quite a bit different. These aren't exact frames. I tried to match it, but they have changed the scene.
A little bit of different geometry in a few spots. The registry number on the original trailer one was down on the lower nacelle. It's moved up to the upper nacelle, very much more prominent. And also, again, the windows, not totally different, slightly different. Along the saucer there.
Yeah, in the original version, the white stripes, white stripes, were going along the entire nacelle. Now there's a distinct plane. There's the darker bits at the front of the nacelle. Like, it's interesting. It's all segmented, and again, the red really strikes out to me. You know, even at the bottom next to a lower registry component, I mean, there's just painted red everywhere. So yeah, pretty different actually. And yet you can see if you look carefully below the ship. The asteroids are the same, the same geometry of asteroids. So they're the same scene. They just reloaded the model, changed the explosion, where it is and change the feel of it. I mean, if you look at the reflection, the first one, it's reflecting different. I mean, I know there's different frames obviously in the explosion, but it's clearly differently reacting in the scene.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That many changes occurred, and some of them not for the better. They should have kept the TOS font, because this is the era we're talking about.
Yep.
Wow. Why? Who would make that decision, and why? Let's go with the movie era font because reasons.
Well, let's go back to this first picture with the easiest to see picture. You can see a lot of red accenting there, and lovely Aztecing. Also, I love the Aztecing. It's so sticky outy, but I kind of like how big it is.
Yeah.
And the outer rim is just like lines of Aztecing. That's kind of weird, but okay.
Well, there are spots on the refit Enterprise that have that as well. Closer to the bridge, have that kind of Aztecing. But yeah, this ship very much seems more like a motion picture era ship than a TOS.
Or an
era.
in between. It's like a true phase 2 almost.
Yeah, but it's too early because it's 10 years before TOS, 10 years before Kirk. It doesn't work for me. Sorry.
But that's true. It could be a prototype. Although
it should say NX.
Yeah. And it's an older registry as well, so it shouldn't be whatever. So yeah, interesting ship. Glad we got to see more of it. Love the shuttle bay. Love a lot of the details. I hope you see this class again. I feel like they've now... the trailer showed... Well, the episode showed so many different classes, and I hope we see them all throughout the show, so we get these great pictures to show all the detail shots, and hopefully we can talk to the designers at some point, John Eves and others, because these things are interesting. They really, really are. Yeah, that's my closing thought. I like it.
Yeah, same here. My favorite ships so far that I've seen, and looking forward to seeing more. So anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, click the like button. If you like the ship, why don't you tell us down below in the comments? That'd be awesome. We love engaging with you, and we do read the comments, so by all means, tell us what you think. And
if you want to support this show, there's a couple of great ways. You can help us out on Patreon, a monthly donation scheme, kind of like an every month, and we really appreciate that because it helps the wheels turn, really. Or a one-time donation at Trekyards.com. It's like a tip or a thank you, or just say, boy, I love the episode, here it's $10 as a thank you. All goes towards the show, and we can make more cool stuff for you to watch.
That's right, and don't forget to share the video around to anyone that you think would enjoy it. And don't forget to join our Facebook pages, both Trekyards and Fleet Yards. A lot of great ship discussion and talk there. So until next time, guys.
And that is it. Well, I'll just say that is it for this coverage of episodes 1/2. Can't wait for episode 3. Hope you guys have enjoyed everything we put out, and excited to talk about the next episode because more stuff's going to happen.
Yes. So as they say at weddings, Europa. I mean, no, that's just Opa. Sorry. Bye, guys.